Welcome to Chapel. This week we're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the incredible evacuation of Dunkirk. In 1940, against all odds, a miracle happened. On the 10th of May 1940, Hitler unleashed a military onslaught on France and Belgium, and within days the British army was outmanoeuvred and unprepared, along with soldiers of other Allied nations, and found themselves with their backs to the sea and hemmed in by the enemy. It appeared that escape was completely impossible. German troops were proceeding and would annihilate the British army. "400,000 men were waiting on the beaches on the other side of the Channel. A miracle was needed, and a miracle came. A miracle of three kinds. And the miracle came in response to a national day of prayer.
The Empire responds to the King's call. And at Westminster Abbey, heart of the Empire, the statesmen, the soldiers, the ambassadors, and hundreds of ordinary men and women join the mighty congregation. Her Majesty Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands arrives a few moments before their Majesties. No one here today could foresee the grave news that has come from Belgium. All the more, it is well for us to show the world that we still believe in divine guidance, in the laws of Christianity. May we find inspiration and faith from this solemn day.
Up and down the country, parish churches were filled with people who had arrived to pray in response to the King's request. Eyewitnesses and photographs confirm overflowing congregations across the land. Long queues formed outside cathedrals. And the same day, an urgent request went out for boats of all sizes and shapes to cross the English Channel to rescue the besieged army. A call which was answered by around 800 small vessels. Fishing boats, trawlers, gentlemen's yachts, leisure craft, all took part. And even before the praying began, curious events were happening. In a decision that infuriated his generals and still baffles historians, Hitler ordered his army to halt. Had they continued to fight, the destruction of the Allied forces would have been inevitable. The war would have taken a different, darker path. Yet for 3 days, the German tanks and soldiers stood idle while the evacuation unfolded. And not only that, bad weather on the Tuesday meant the Luftwaffe were grounded, allowing Allied soldiers to march unhindered to the beaches to wait for rescue. I don't know if you've ever done a channel crossing, perhaps on a ferry or on a private boat, but it's a churning body of water. You might be fortunate to have a quiet day, but it's never still. But for 3 days and 3 nights, the Channel was like a mill pond, completely still, never recorded before and never known since. By the time the German army was finally ordered to renew its attack, over 338,000 troops had been snatched from the beaches by those humble little ships. Able to go into the shallower waters to pick the soldiers up and put them onto the bigger boats, they went back into danger again and again, some of them piloted by civilian owners. Those little ships, even today, those that survived, are considered heroes in their own right, a symbol of those brave people who sailed into danger again and again to lift those soldiers from the beach. One might argue that these events were simply coincidental, but for the people at the time, they certainly didn't think so. The 9th of June was declared a national day of thanksgiving, and Churchill himself coined the phrase, Britain's miracle. It was certainly believed that Dunkirk was a miracle, a series of miracles, extraordinary things that wouldn't have happened without our prayers. Prayer is a mysterious thing. It's difficult to say precisely how it works. One just has to believe that it does. You may not have a catastrophe on the scale of Dunkirk 1940 to contend with, but I'm sure that there are things that you would like to see different, miracles that you would like to see happen. Our prayers today are going to be a moment of quiet, in which we can search our own hearts and ask God for the things that we most long for.